Hey, we are live. Welcome to Soultiful. I'm your host today. My name is Latoya,
My name's Nakia.
Hey, Toya.
and we have an awesome guest today. Her name is Hailey Thomas. Thank you for coming, Hailey.
Hello, hello. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah.
Yes. What are we working on today, ladies?
I worked on a PowerPoint for my full-time job.
I worked on a document to add affiliate links and email marketing software for our group.
Sweet. I've been working on my email signature and heading, and then my workflows in Dubsado. Haley, what you working on?
We launched a book today for one of the brands that I co-created. It's live out there on Amazon. And so the last 24 hours has been a lot of like getting the email marketing done and making sure the Amazon link works and people can find it. And so that book is called Making Money as a Podcast Producer, and that is live on Amazon now. So yeah.
Ooh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Check that out. Please go check
Yes.
it out. So let me introduce this awesome lady. We are sitting down today with Hailey Thomas. Hailey is a mindset coach that specializes in helping entrepreneurs craft a clear vision for their lives and achieve that vision by cleaning up their thinking. So we're talking about clarity, confidence, and decision making. Hailey also hosts 1 Year From Now, which is a podcast that captures candid conversations and lessons learned from entrepreneurs moving towards their own visions. Now, at home, Hailey is a wife and mom and spends the majority of her free time reading fiction, watching terrible 80s horror movies, and learning code. Oh my God, my hearts. I would love to learn code.
Me too.
So, thank you for coming. The floor is all yours. Take it away.
First of all, thank you all so much for having me on. This is so fun. And just even in our initial conversation a couple weeks ago, it's just been fun to like sit with you three and like listen to you all chat. So that's been very fun. And yeah, I guess I just want to start by helping people understand what a mindset coach is in the first place. I remember starting my business as a virtual assistant, and at that point in time, when I would tell people about it, at least like my dad or like my in-laws, teacher, bus driver. My dad is a building engineer at a school, and so when I'm like, I have a virtual assistant, and they're like, great, what is that?
Right.
So I got practiced at figuring out very concise way to explain it. And so when I talk about mindset coaching, so when I transitioned to that, it was another like, we're so proud of you. What do you mean? So it never bothers me when people ask what this is. So basically a mindset coach is someone who helps you solve problems on a deeper level. It helps you kind of become like increase your processing power of your brain. So the more capable you are of being resourceful and of asking yourself for answers first and like thinking through problems, the shallow problems become much easier to solve. So for example, I have a client who wants to double her revenue by 2020. She's a CPA. And so, or by 2021, June of 2021. And we could talk at the top level about, what exactly your pricing needs to be or the programs you need to offer. And, do you do one to many and do you sell a book or an ebook or something like that? But before you get to that level of problem solving, we answer the questions below that, which is what's stopping you? What kind of things do you know are going to distract you from doing this?
That's good.
How do you process fear and anxiety, and how's that going to divert us, and how can we help it help us? And when you have answers to those things, you can answer the top line questions way easier.
Cool.
So that's what that is. Yeah. Question for our group here. Have you all worked with a coach before?
Nope.
Yes. Not a mindset coach.
Tell me what kind of coach. Tell me about it.
I think we've all had kind of virtual assistant mentorship, if you will. So that's probably the extent for me.
Yeah. And so I think there is a lot of elements of coaching, maybe in other setups, right? Like there is the accountability setup. There is, just kind of connecting with a group instead of one-to-one with a group, having a mentor. But my favorite thing about being a coach is that I can be completely unbiased, meaning I am not involved in your life in any way outside of it being a coach. So, which means I can't have opinions and feelings about things the same way that you or your friends or, you know, people that you work with might. But I'm also practiced, or a coach should be practiced in like kind of advocating for your dreams and being able to not get stuck at this top level, but okay, down here at this bottom level, what's actually happening? You know, let's walk through what's actually going on. So anyway, that is the overview of what a mindset coach is. And for the rest of our time today, first of all, feel free to jump in with questions at any point in time, ladies. But I want to I want to walk you through a coaching tool that I developed called the 1 Year From Now Vision. And that is the tool that is, you know, what I coach on. It's the name of my podcast. It's like how I help people think through all their stuff. And so we are going to walk through, you all have all graciously decided to share this and do this exercise with us or with me. And if you are listening or at home, like feel free to get out a pen and paper and we'll do this exercise together as well. So I'm going to just get my little notes up here so I can see them while I'm looking at you all.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, get your notebooks out, everybody. So before we hop in, I will talk just super briefly about what the 1 Year From Now vision is. So basically this came to me because I came out of HR and I came out of like the corporate world, which of course you had a 3-year vision and a 5-year vision and a 10-year plan. And that worked when you're in a trajectory in which your role was predictable. Like you knew what to expect next, or like there was a ladder of what to do next or what your job could be. But when you work for yourself, you're making it up as you go in the best way, that you get to pick what happens to you, but you're making it up. And so you have no idea what 3 years from now is going to look like, or 5, and 10 is
literally.
Yes.
Yeah, literally. Like I could not tell you what my life was going to be like 3 years from now. I can't. And so I started being more intentional about crafting the concept of the 1 year from now vision, kind of based off of like resolutions. Like, you know how we set New Year's resolutions, but then like we don't ever do anything about it.
Right.
This is a way to look at something like a resolution, things you would like to accomplish, make it more concrete, and then help you get goals to like work backwards in it. So it's great because you come up with this target, like your brain is going to produce the answers of these questions. And that means you're not trying to follow somebody else's plan for your business or for your life. And then it gives you the opportunity to practice getting your brain to answer questions that you have for it. So we'll talk about what that looks like here in a little while. But this is basically creating like a multi-purpose tool for what your work's going to look like a year from now. So I'm going to ask you all a series of questions, and I have a little timer here. So I'm going to give you some seconds between the questions to answer and to do some journaling. But the main goal here is for you to just write what comes. Don't judge it. Well, that may not happen, or we might have this thing planned, so I don't know. Don't judge anything. Don't worry about getting it right or having all the answers. Your job is just to write what your brain gives you. Cool?
What is this called again? Just for the people?
Yes, this is called your 1 year from now vision.
1 year from now vision. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. I will also offer, maybe I'll add this to the show notes here, but I have a download that is this as a workbook. So I can share that. So the first question, and let me get my timer ready, is when you think about your work and your life 1 year from now, what do you see? Don't judge it. Just let it come out. Write it.
No clue. That's the problem. I'm stuck between leaving my job and staying at my job. So I have no clue.
So this is what I want you to do for a second before you start writing. Then just close your eyes and imagine, I'll stop that. Imagine that it is August 4th of 2021. Okay. And August 4th of 2021, where are you sitting? I mean, if you close your eyes and think of it, your brain will put you in a place. Where is that place? Is it at home? Is it at your desk? Like, where is it putting you?
Still not there. Okay.
Okay. So let's hold on. So that's the first question. Second question is, when you think about your business, what do you envision your clients are like?
That's easier.
Interesting.
When you think about your service offerings, what comes to mind? And I want you to imagine that it is, again, August 4th, a balmy August day, 2021, and you are about to head out to lunch, and you are just like feeling it, right? Like, this morning was so good. The work was so good. I'm glad I got to do this work. What were you working on? I want you to think about that same day, August 4th, is a Tuesday. And by then, all the restaurants are going to be open. So for the sake of this, this thing, we're going to say all the restaurants are going to be open. You're about to meet your girls for dinner, and you're so excited. One of them asks you, hey, what's been going on in your life? And you get to tell her something you're so excited you accomplished this year. Like, over the past year, I did this thing, and girl, I'm just so proud of myself. I'm so happy. What do you tell her?
Oh, that one was the most easiest one. Why was that?
So lastly, there might be more questions. Lastly, it's the end of the night. You are headed home. Had a great dinner with your girls. You're about to get into bed. If you're like me, you've done an extensive nighttime routine. It takes me forever to get to bed. But you're laying down, and you were just so grateful for 3 things that are in your life right now. And it could be about anything. But what are the first things that come to mind as you lay down your head that night? And lastly, I want you to be in that place mentally of, you just had this great day, work that you enjoyed doing. You got to see some of your friends, went out to dinner, got to pat yourself on the back a little bit for the work that you've done. How are you feeling? What feelings are associated with those thoughts? Okay. So this is like not a mini version, like half the questions I typically ask. But first of all, tell me what you all's experience was going through that. I know for the first questions, y'all were like, I don't see anything.
I didn't see anything, and it was kind of hard to relate because I have so much going on. So it was like, what do I say, or where am I going, or all of that.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't think. I just wrote whatever popped up. I put it on there, whether I agreed with it or not. I just
Mhm.
put it on there.
And I don't know, I had like whimsical feelings like, yay, fun, I'm excited.
No, but that's good. Like that's good, right? So one of the things that I think is particularly challenging for people that are very pragmatic, which is like we're just get the things done, right?
Mhm.
So it's really challenging actually for people who are very pragmatic to use their imagination. It's
Mhm.
very challenging. But you also don't scale as quickly or like it helps you be more creative at solving problems the more often you kind of tap into and try to get your brain to work on imagining. So that's one of the things that comes out of this is really just seeing, wow, my brain is wildly uncomfortable with imagining because typically it's because whatever's happening right now feels very heavy, very hard. Like I literally can't even imagine a scenario in which this isn't the case. And so that's okay. And that's perfectly fine. Like if you do this same exercise, and again, I'll share the opt-in a week from now, you're going to have different answers. Your brain will be in a different spot.
Right.
Um, what I would also offer is that um, one of the things to work on, or that I work on often with my clients, is making my brain answer those questions for me, because its first reaction to anything unknown, because the thought is I don't know. It's like, oh, I don't know, don't ask me, I don't know, but you do know. The brain is like the most powerful tool that has ever been created. It does know, it knows something, and it may not know everything, but it knows something. And so that's part of the work as well, is there is a balance between compassion and doing it lovingly, and just like, okay, we're going to come back to this because there's no way all the answers of the world are outside of me. Like I know something. And as you grow this, you'll grow your own confidence in asking yourself questions first. So before we move on to what to do with this vision, because right now it may just be like a fragment, like a bunch of sentences, like just some gobbledygook on some paper. But I'm curious, do any of you want to share what you have written thus far?
I'll share.
Okay. What do you got?
So your first question, I wrote working full time from different locations around the world. Second one, I have major beauty brands and beauty gurus. Third one, I have an everything services like an agency. And then I have, I'm telling them about a new contract that I just got with a well known YouTuber.
Mm.
And then the news that I share with them is I just became international. I have a client in Africa. And then my things that I'm grateful for, God loves me. My husband and I work together. I'm helping so many people. And then the words that came to me was successful, accomplished, and inspired.
And what was the last one?
Very good.
Successful, accomplished, and inspired.
Nice.
Very good, very good. Okay, Nakia, down with it.
What? I told you I didn't see anything, but I know that I'm not 100%. But I didn't see anything for the first couple of questions. But I do
Mm-hmm.
want to be more focused about my business, in that I want to only focus on administrative and project stuff. So I want to do that. I want to make sure that I am focusing on my zone of genius, which is that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be proud of myself by leveling up. To me, that means that I do have to let go of my job, which I am tugging with.
Mm.
Um, I want to be grateful for my friends' love and work, because I do love my work. And my words were accomplishment, persistence, tenacity, and vision.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. All right, so I don't think I wrote all the questions down, but I think I have answers. All right, so the first one was about when you think about work, what do you see, work and life? And so a year from now, I see less actually working in my business and
Mhm.
hopefully making opportunities for more people to work with me, partner with me. And I see myself on road trips. I see myself out of the country, Bali or somewhere. That's what I see from a year from now. And when do you think, what was the second one? What do you think about your business? What is
Yeah,
it?
when you think about your offerings or your clients, stuff like that, what comes to mind?
Okay, so I because we've had some experiences with different type of business owners and different personality types and so forth. I see I see working with therapists. I don't know what this healthcare thing is, but I see working with therapists. And, my sister is a psychologist, and I see them being gracious. I see them being peaceful. I see them being very grateful for the work that we can do to allow them to focus in their zone of genius.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and this the third question: what service offerings? I would like to focus what I currently do, which I enjoy, is social media, specifically engagement, and assisting with video, like helping folks get their videos up and maybe engineering in the background. So I guess that's the next question. I enjoy helping the background, helping people to get their videos and stuff, helping them in the background with the webinars, and again engaging on their behalf. The last one, what's next? What was the next question?
Um, I believe I always ask these in some somewhat different order, so we'll see if
Okay.
I remember it. But like I think the next one was like,
What you're sharing with them, you're at the
Oh,
table.
yeah,
okay.
at dinner.
Okay. Also, I'm telling them about these 7 women that I just helped to create their foundation in their VA business, and I'm explaining how excited I am because they have connected with their ideal clients.
Mhm.
And the things you're thankful for.
Okay, so I'm so grateful that God has given us the power to create, and we can create things that help us to take care of our families. I'm also grateful for my health. And what was the last one?
The the words that come to mind.
Okay, peaceful, accomplished, walking in my calling.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love that. Thank you all for sharing that.
Yeah.
I want to offer or ask, like, how much of what you wrote down feels within reach in a year?
I love it. Because
All,
I didn't put anything concrete, so all of
Yeah.
that.
all of it,
Toya, you're
all
making
of
a
it.
face.
Nah, nah, I don't think. I don't think my. I mean, I know they say shoot high, and
Mhm.
that's exactly what my brain did on this thing here. But you cannot go where your mind has not already been. So
That
if
part.
my mind has already been here, I'm guessing this must be in my path somewhere. Now, how we gonna get that? I have no clue. But hey,
Yeah, that's what I work with people on, right? So typically we'll do this exercise when I onboard a new client and they're like, "Oh, where did this come from?" Like,
right?
going
I
all
don't
night.
know.
Okay, you just okay, brain, okay. And that's fine. Like that's okay.
Yes,
I think what you have to acknowledge is like what I hate what I hate is when coaches are like, just believe in yourself and hashtag boss babe and you can do it and just put it. That's not how your brain works, actually. That's not how it actually goes. What you have to do first is acknowledge, like, so acknowledge where you are and believing what you put down is possible for you. And sometimes, and even for me, my coach will I'll bring up a goal and I'm like, so my brain thought this, but I'm at like a 2% for believing it's possible. And she's like,
Right.
okay. And that's not a problem. Like it's not a problem at all to be at like a 2%. And the goal isn't to get you from not believing to like aggressively preppy. I hate that because it's just not useful. It's like so aggressive, like calm down. The goal is to get you from I don't believe this is possible to like, okay, maybe it's possible. So that's the work that you need to do in your mind is just look for evidence of where this might maybe be possible. Like Are other people doing this? Okay, then that tells your brain like, okay, so someone has figured it out, right? So it's possible on some level. And then you just kind of keep working your brain up the spectrum. You don't actually have to be at 100% belief to achieve goals. You only need to be really, you can get pretty far. What do they say? Like C's get degrees. You can get pretty far at about 70%. And so that's like something just to work on ongoing, is like believing that this is possible, that it's possible for me, that it's possible sooner than later.
So Hailey, with you saying that, I appreciate you saying that, because for instance, me saying I'm going to go to Bali or something next year, I got 6 kids. Where I'm finna, you know what I'm saying? but I know other virtual assistants, people that do the same thing that I do, and within a year of doing this work, they have paid off their cars. You know what I'm saying? They go where they want to go when they want to do it. So why not me? Why not us? We're very capable.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like, so this is when the self-coaching comes. So clients will work with me, and part of my work is to teach them how to coach themselves when they're not with me. And that is part of the work right there, is just like, it's so normal for your brain to be like, no. I mean, for them, sure, not for us. We can't, that's not us. Especially for Black women. That is like the constant roll on our head is, I mean, yes, other people do it, but not us. And part of the work is being gentle and gracious, but persistent with your brain and building up evidence for why. It's almost like being in a courtroom with your brain and like, arguing against the defense.
I
or
love
like
that.
people. Yeah, is like, no, here's evidence why this is possible.
Yeah. Hailey, what is something that you that's maybe at the top, like something that you struggle like, oh, can I really do that? But your brain told you that you could.
So my goal was to make another $113,000 in my business between now and the end of the year. And my brain's like, I don't, but we can't do that.
Yes, you can.
And so I've been working on, but like truly, when I said it, and then I was like, oh, I want to put that back, because I can't do that. Who does that? I can't do that. But part of my work has been just, and so what I mean when I like give your brain evidence, or like, you're presenting an argument for it, is literally like, okay, $113,000 for me is like another dozen one-on-one clients.
That's perspective. You can do that.
Yes, it's like, right, exactly. Like a dozen is not a big. I don't need 50 people. I need like 12. Okay, so where can I find like it's a matter of, people. My clients like me. My clients are having successes, which means I will probably continue to get successes for other clients, and people should work with me. Like it's just. I do a lot of journaling and a lot of writing, and a part of it is literally just like, name all of the ways in which this might be possible. And I just leave it at that, no pressure. So that's one of the things that one in particular is the one that my brain's like, we're at like a solid like 45% with that right now.
And based on your success, the probability is extremely high that that's going to happen. Love it.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah. So, no, that's a great question. So the second part of it is just learning to believe that this is possible, and being fine, like so fine with, right now, I do not believe this is possible for me. I just don't. And that's okay. Your job then is to just start inching closer down the line. In addition to that, or what can help with that, are these 4 questions that I like to ask when somebody has their vision. And this vision exercise, so I go on vision drives or vision walks, and it's literally like me just asking myself these questions again, because it will become more and more and more clear the more often you think about it. But there are 4 questions that you can ask once you have your vision. The first one is, who do I need to become to make this happen? Like, who is the person that ends up in Bali with all 6 of her kids? What is she like?
Yeah.
How is she operating? How does she spend her time? What does she read? Who does she hang out with? Who is she? And that right there gives you a list of things that you can start, some of it is kind of fun to check off of, like, okay, I'm resourceful. So and she's resourceful. Great. We're on the same path. They're things that match up. The other one is, what do I need to prioritize to create the result that I want? And I would also, the second question, or I would slash that and say also, who or what is currently on my to-do list that is going to help me create those results, and what's currently on my to-do list that is like 0% going to help me with this, because that sort of stuff ends up there all the time. The third one is, what do I need to learn to create that result? So again, it's not a problem at all if you don't have everything you need right now to create the result that you want a year from now, because you're not that person yet. There's some things you just don't know yet, and if you did know them, then you'd be that person and you'd have that result. So the question is, what do I need to learn? For a lot of people, it's the skill of delegating, the skill of hiring. It's being like learning to be sufficient with what we have now, or run the business very lean. Like what tactical, like what's the stuff that I need to learn how to do to make this possible? And then the last question is, which is like my favorite question ever, is how would future me make decisions?
That's good.
And by that, I mean like decisions in your business, decisions in your life. I mean, I use it like, how would future me think about her marriage right now? What would future me choose for? I know a lot of parents are trying to figure out what to do with their kids right now, like send them back to school, depending on what your state's regulations are. What would future Hailey think of this? Future me is so smart. She's also smoking hot and really wealthy. So I ask her a lot of questions because she's very smart.
Yeah.
Let me ask my future me what's up.
Yes.
That rich mogul. Yeah.
Seriously. So I ask her questions all the time, which seems very like, I don't know, it might seem very weird to some people, but I really work on asking myself questions first. And then if she's like, you know what, you need to go ask so-and-so because they'd be a great referral source, then I'll go and ask questions because I know I don't know everything. But positioning any question in your life, how would future me, who has what I want, how would she look at this situation, is very useful.
Wait a minute. I like the psychological aspect of coming out of yourself to speak to yourself.
It's so fun.
Toy, do you not talk to yourself? I do that all the time. That's what successful entrepreneurs do.
I have never talked to future me. I talk to me.
Yes.
Look,
Oh,
me
okay.
that's next to you right now. I talk to her all the time, and we both be leading the blind. So I think going into the future and talking to me is a darn good. Yeah, I like that.
Yes. Ask her.
Hey,
what she.
Hailey, this is like personal development, like on steroids, like systematic personal development. This is awesome. Thank
Good.
you.
I'm glad.
Yes.
And I love like, so when it comes to coaching, like my most powerful weapon is questions, right? Like if you can figure out how to ask yourself the right questions and get your brain to answer them, like I feel like I get very like excited about what I do, but it truly is the thing that unlocks so much. Like if you get proficient at asking yourself questions, so good.
You know what? And it's so crazy, but this really makes sense because if okay, so you asked us these questions. My brain thought of some stuff that I'm like, you tripping, but
Right.
obviously there's something going on in the background that I'm not aware of. So if I can tap into into that blueprint and figure out what's going on out there, then I think that'll be me heading down the right path because where that came from, I have no clue.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair to say, like, I don't know. You came up with that. Like that was already there.
Ooh,
You right. She's like, oh that. But you did. Your brain produced those thoughts. It came from somewhere.
Right.
And
That's why I'm like, if I could tap in to figure out where they thought that up at, let me find out the I like that. I really do. I like that.
yeah. So those are the first 4 questions. And I'm curious, what else came up for you guys as we think about those core questions? What else comes up for you?
I need to be more assertive. I can be assertive, but when it comes to my business, I don't feel like I am assertive. So I need to be more assertive. What can I prioritize? I can prioritize my business because right now I don't. I kind of
Mhm.
just work at it whenever I feel like it. What's on my to-do list that can assist me, and what do I need to learn? I personally want to take a project management class from PMI, so
Mm.
that's on my to-do list. Further educating myself so that I can make it easy for clients to delegate to me is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And how would future me make decisions? I think good old me now makes good decisions. So future me will kind of do the same thing.
Yeah.
Pros and cons, weighing out everything, talking things through with my husband, and making the best decisions. So I think future me.
Yeah. So tell me about, I'm going to back up a step actually, and tell me about when we did the actual visioning exercise, the feelings at the end. What were your feelings?
My feelings were grateful, friends, love, and work.
Okay.
Are those the words, or was it the accomplishment, persistence, tenacity, and vision?
No, those were your words.
Okay.
Those was what you told.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Accomplishment, persistence, tenacity, and vision.
Yeah. So I want you to be in that place of, those are all different ways to me of saying like power, like
Right.
you feel very powerful. And that's, so whatever you put in that feelings line, like Toya, I know you put like peaceful was a part of yours.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you put in that feelings line, that's also a part of future you. And so that's the posture of which you can go to make decisions about. Like that's like the quick way of tapping into that.
Okay.
Yeah. And it will continue to develop as you practice thinking about like these sorts of things. But that I think that is especially helpful when you're thinking about it. I mean, truly any decision. So for example, I've got a revenue goal this month of $20,000, and me currently is like, the hell, where are we? I don't, what? And future me, like I know how to tap into her, and she is always her question for me, like I think of future me having me as a mentor or like a mentee, and her question for me is always like, what is the simplest way you can get to where you're going? What like
Yes.
future me asks such good questions. She's so pretty and smart. But she always like, that's the question. She's always like, what's the simplest way? What's the easiest way? And from that place, I can then be like curious and creative and go, okay, what is the simplest thing I could do to make this happen? What is the cleanest, easiest thing? Like, you know, so it's just a mode of like, you can ask future you directly, or even just apply that future thought, or like, you know, however you envision the future version of yourself onto what you're currently experiencing and try to figure out. And that's just like tapping into this other level of kind of settledness. I think that's the thing that happens with when you think of yourself in the future. Everyone thinks of themselves as more settled.
Right.
And current me is sometimes just like all over.
I would be more rowdy in my futureness.
Yeah.
I feel like I've always been settled. I've always been more mature than
Oh,
me and things like that. So now it's time for me to kick some doors and do some things.
nice.
Okay.
Yes.
Do that now.
Okay. Okay.
Have any responsibilities? I mean, I can do those things.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? This actually ties into a conversation I was having with another awesome lady. She had put up a post on her Facebook page that said, "I finally did it. I hired myself as a client."
Yes.
And it threw me a little bit, and I was like, "Wait a minute, let me listen with my good ear. What are you talking about?"
Okay.
So she said how she's always promoting everyone else and she's very good at promotion. Now she hired herself and she now is going to do the same thing for herself. So just now when you said talk to yourself as a coach, your future self becomes your new coach. So
Yes.
hiring yourself as your own coach. Look at that confirmation. Won't he do it? Yes.
Won't
Only
he
do
do
it.
it?
I love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there are a few other things you can ask yourself, for, you know, ask future version of you. And I'll go through these, you know, we don't have to spend too long on them, but it's very useful for learning more about yourself. I'm all for like, truly, if you are going to be able to trust yourself with, you know, asking good questions and getting good answers, then you have to practice. You have to practice coming up with answers for yourself. So the other cool things you can do once you have your 1 year from now vision and kind of have an idea of what future you is like, is ask how did I get here? So you can actually kind of reverse engineer it and think about all the things in your life you have currently that you love, all the things in your life you have currently that you hate, and kind of go back to the year prior and say, how did I create this? How did I make this? And I'm very much for, even if you hate it or don't like what the situation you're in,
To learn something.
you'll right.
Yeah.
And like you have responsibility and ownership and power over it. So even if you don't like it, you had a hand in creating it, which means you can have a hand in undoing it.
Right, because it didn't happen haphazardly. You created this, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I
And
think
it
that's
might have been
good.
you created this by not paying attention to it and
That's
letting it
right. That's
haphazardly.
right. Absolutely. You're right.
Yeah.
That's good.
So that's the first question, is just kind of asking, reversing the thing and saying, how did I get to where I am now? What decisions was I making a year ago, or what things did I prioritize a year ago that put me in the position that I'm in now? The next question is, how do I get there? So this one is a little like challenging because your brain's very first answer is going to be like, I don't know. For me and for my clients, all my clients already know, like, don't even fix your mouth to tell me I don't know, because we don't play that. But it's like a practice thing. And so you can ask future you, how did I get there? How did we get here in the future? What happened? What did I have to overcome? What happened that made us this different person? And again, it's totally fine and completely normal if your brain's first instinct is like, I don't know. But like, ask it before bed and then just go to bed and see what it says in the morning, or ask it while you're driving around, or just keep asking it and it'll come up with answers. And then the last question, which we've already talked about, is what would I do? What would I do in this particular situation? And I am a great fan of asking about all sorts of things, like all kinds of things, but particularly around business. So I've already mentioned the I don't knows. And again, it really is just your brain being unpracticed and answering questions. And so that's the first thing it spits off. And really, it's doing its job. It's supposed to be protecting you from new things, and it wants to be comfortable as much as possible, which means keeping on the same path that you're currently on. So by asking it to do any more or outside, it's like, that seems dangerous. We're not doing that. So the best thing to do is, one, give it time. Like I said, keep asking yourself questions. It's not, and I think women in general, but especially Black women, we're so hard on ourselves. Like, we're so like, get it together, that I want to be very clear that that's not what this is. You can be compassionate and persistent at the same time. Because if right in this minute, your brain is like, don't ask again, I have nothing for you, I'm tired and hungry, and it's the end of the day, and I've been on Zoom meetings, leave it be. Just let it go. Come back to it in a few days, but don't not come back to it, basically. The other thing that is useful is using your calendar. So our brains think in time, they think chronologically. And so I literally will go look at the calendar August 4th of 2021, and I'll kind of just start mentally building a picture for myself. Like, okay, so the first day of school for my kid will probably be this date. And oh yeah, our anniversary is this day in July. And what kinds of things, like just kind of creating a picture for yourself, or like a container for where it is you want to be and what you might be experiencing in that time is helpful. Same thing when you look backwards as well, actually, is go look at your calendar and what you were doing on August 4th of 2019 to help build out that picture for yourself as well. Yeah, so those are the troubleshooting that I don't know is when your brain serves them up to you. So what I want to ask you all for our last, 10 or 15 minutes, or kind of open a discussion, if you are up for it, does anyone have anything that their brain is telling them and they want to get coaching on it or troubleshoot it, kind of in our little group here?
I personally have recently thought about closing my business.
That's so interesting.
I don't know why, because I'm happy with it, but I feel like I'm not as driven as I was before, and I could use the time somewhere else. but it's not something that I necessarily want to do. So I have to figure out, how do I get my fever back for my
Mm.
business.
So mm,
I think it's
what's
because
the
everything seems to be pushing me to leave my job and I'm not ready yet. And so I feel like I have to choose. And I
mm,
feel like I should go with the one that is safe.
mm-hmm,
But the one that's safe doesn't make me as happy as the other one. But the other one isn't really doing everything that it could do either.
mm-hmm.
So I just, um,
What's the challenge with you? You kind of just said it, but I want you to be clearer with yourself. What's the actual challenge with you just making a decision?
I like both. I do like both. I love my job. I'm good at it. I'm great at it. I'm good at it.
Yeah.
And it
So
feels safe. That's the
And
part
it
that
is
I
safe. It is safe. I mean, I'm the breadwinner. Um, so for me to say, hey, forget everybody else, I got to go and pursue this, and I don't have any parachute or anything else going with me.
mm-hmm.
I feel like that's irresponsible, and I'm never irresponsible.
So that's the actual challenge here. So the top line question is job versus business.
Right.
The under level question is if I make either decision is going to feel out of integrity. If I choose my business, I will be irresponsible, is what your brain is telling you. And I am not an irresponsible person. If I choose my work, then I will be unhappy, which also feels out of integrity because our instinct is to care for ourselves. But we're totally willing to like shove that aside. What I would sit with is your thoughts about people who make selfish, because that's the other thing your brain is saying, selfish decisions. Because
Yeah.
I think that might also be showing up in other places too, right? Like your business isn't, in the same vein, you're like, it's not giving me everything that I want but also it's because I work on it kind of when I
Right.
feel like it. And I'm wondering if part of that push is because, I keep putting other people's stuff in front of my
Right.
thing.
Right. That is
So
true.
it's showing up in lots of places, I'm going to assume.
Right.
Yeah. So I would ask your brain. I mean, there's two ways you can go about it. One is just literally write a list of what you think about people who choose to go out on their own. Like just a very real list, because your brain will be like, they're idiots, terrible idea. They don't care about their families. That is for like young white men who don't have children. Like that is like all the, like, just let your brain go for it. Like literally all, because that's the stuff that I was thinking before I left my corporate job.
Mm.
Just let it go for it. And then ask yourself, how could this also not be true? And just like see what happens. And then I guess the other side of it too might be, are you willing to put yourself on the back burner for the next 10 years? Put what you want on the back burner for the next 10 years.
That's a definite no. I know that's not an option because I have just got two kids out of the house and it's now my time. So I know that I'm not on the back burner for anything.
Yeah. So really the only thing stopping you is you.
True.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah. And so the question would be, if you become one of those people that quits their jobs and follow their dreams, like your brain is like, oh, but we're not that person. But right. You're like, but I want to be, but your brain's like, but we're not. Right. I would sit with that though and ask it how come? And what do you really think of those people and how come?
I think it has something to do with my family and that no one in my family has done this before. And I'm not like them at all, but still the naysayers or the conversation that I can hear in my head is saying, that heifer is crazy. Do you know she quit her job? She was making this amount of money. She was doing this, and she quit her job to go play in her office. So
shoot.
That's not to go play in the office.
Yeah, not go play.
So the best thing about your brain is that when it is saying things that seem too harsh, it will say that other people will say it, but that is what it's actually thinking about you. Right. You were saying, who do I think I am? I'm sitting around here playing in my office. That is what your brain is thinking of you. And I would challenge you to literally write a list. So I call them thought downloads. And it's literally like, I'll just get some paper and I'm just anything that comes to mind, write it all down.
Right.
and just sit with it for a minute. And you and I can follow up later on this, but like see what your brain is telling you about what it means to leave your job, because that's the thing that's stopping you from actually just choosing.
Right. I feel like I can't be successful in my business because I am holding myself back from my job, but my job's really not doing anything for me right now but giving me a check every week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not moving. I'm not learning anything new. I'm not doing anything. They're not keeping me busy. Half the day, after 2 hours, I'm finished. And I just got 6 hours to sit there. So I feel unfulfilled, but I still feel like I need to be there because that is my zone of genius. And I don't feel like my zone of genius transfers, even though I am knowledgeable. I don't feel like it transfers to my business.
So I would challenge you though, if you feel that way, that's not your zone of genius. That's just your zone of proficiency. You're very good at it, but it's not, if you feel that way about it, then that literally cannot be your zone of genius.
Snatch. Wait a minute. Not your zone of genius, it's just zone of what?
Proficiency. Like you're just very good at it.
Yeah.
So for my church, I am the finance chair for our church. I hate accounting and I hate writing checks and I hate making these reports every month, but I am very proficient at it.
Right.
And so I will do it for my church because I know that's a need. I will literally run away from this country before I offer that as a service in my business. Absolutely not.
Right.
Because I know I'm very proficient. I refuse to do it. And because of that, I know that that's not my actual zone of genius. I'll do it, but only when I have to.
You have to.
I feel about taking calls. Jesus. I can do it, but I'd rather not.
What else? Anybody else have anything for our last few minutes we want to get coached on?
You've already helped me through the whole thing. I think I've been getting my coaching through the whole.
I'm very appreciative because I definitely can't afford you. She talking about 20,000. I know I can't afford her. So
no, it's you know what's funny, and I'm just like, we're just brainstorming online. Somebody said like, oh, you should have group coaching. Like you should just offer group coaching for people. So maybe that'll be a thing that happens.
I've never heard of group coaching. I thought coaching was always supposed to be personal.
Well, so I think it really, I think the traditional model of coaching is one-on-one, but in scenarios like this where like people can learn from each other and people are okay. Like it's not like all my one-on-one clients signed up to be one-on-one, but yeah, when we know we're in a group and we can learn from other people getting coached and ask, how does this apply to me? Then I think that can work too.
Yeah, because this was very helpful.
It was very helpful for me because I have been struggling with that for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. We got time. Somebody give me something else. Let's do it.
Love that. Well, let's think here. Well, as I talked about before we got on the call, we have a program, more of like an accountability program for other virtual assistants. We're ride along partners in our business, and so one of the things that one of our sisters in the group, she wants to market to those who are maybe kind of struggling. They're in maybe they're receiving benefits from the state, that type of thing. And as a VA, and she's learning how to be a VA, she wants to be able to provide services for maybe those people who are starting their business. And I understand that because I was like that when I first started out. I want to help people, I want to help people who, especially, so I get it. But with our mindset, I think we have to change and understand that we can not do a whole lot for them because they can't afford us, So what's your resolve, or what do you recommend for someone trying to come up with who their target market is and they have a heart, they want to help, but what's your recommendation?
So there are multiple things happening here, and actually none of it has to do with the actual clients that are out there. It's all up here. I mean, obviously a mindset coach is going to say that, but the things that I would stop on is first stop and say, I see this need and that hurts my heart. Like what's happening here is like, oh, I see a need, people need help. And oftentimes instead of wanting to feel our emotions, we're like, well, let's just energy, like let's just action. And so I don't have to feel. And I think the first thing to do is stop and like think about how it is you're actually feeling about those people, and like who there is to help, or if there's like somebody that she knows specifically. You're sad. I'm sad for them, or like I'm nervous for them, or I would, because my family's been in that position, so I know that's hurtful and it's hard and they're struggling and whatever. But you have to acknowledge first how you're feeling, and it's so that you can set that down off to the side for a minute. Because if you keep wanting to connect it to like, oh, then I need to make my business about it, it's really just frenetic energy, just action you want to have for something that you are feeling. So there's like a separation that needs to happen there. The other thing that happens when people choose audiences that they are very comfortable with because of the proximity, or because they are, there's like a power dynamic that happens. Either they're like, oh, I'm equal with these people, or I'm a little bit further along in my business than this person. That feels comfortable then to market to them because there's no intimidation on the part of who she's marketing to. So she doesn't have to work on getting out of her comfort zone. She doesn't have to meet new people. She doesn't have to worry about, it's almost like your brain knows that's going to be more challenging and you'll be rejected more often. And your brain kind of knows that, but it's scared to do the other things. So it would just sit with the rejection than go meet people that would actually be able to pay you.
Wow.
You have to be able to like separate, hey, this hurts. And I know that, and I'm feeling that in my heart. And also I can do something about it and I can help people when I am making money, but those are two separate pieces. You don't pin them together.
So acknowledge your feelings so that you can set it aside.
Yeah. And you can always come back to your feelings, always, but they don't need to
run your business.
They don't need to run your business. They can't, they don't.
That right there, that's like, I don't know, that's the program. Your feelings should not run your business.
Yeah. No, that's an excellent question that people like, because to all the stories of my childhood for real feel that, but also those people are not going to be paying my bills, and I'm actually less efficient at helping them when I'm also not making money. I love giving away money. Like, it's so fun. It's so fun. Just be like, yeah, absolutely give away money. Or for sure, you can come into my program. Yeah, I'll just give you this book for free. Who cares? But I can do that because revenue is happening. If revenue wasn't happening, I'd be like, oh, well, it makes you stingy.
Right.
Stingy. Okay. And I don't want to be that person. So.
Right.
Toya.
Which Toya?
So look, it is about that time. Yes. Look, I was all in it. Okay, y'all, thank y'all for coming today. This has been awesome, you guys. I'm going to have all of her information down in the show notes so that y'all can connect with her, get an earful of that podcast she got going on. Like, jump all in. As you can see, she is darn good at what she do, and I am very grateful to have her on the show today. Y'all make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Meet us right back here next week, Tuesday, right here at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Love you guys.
Before we go, the Virtual Assistant Conference, can you tell folks about that?
Oh, okay. So y'all know that we're all virtual assistants here. Toya, myself, Nakia, we all have our own businesses as virtual assistants, and we have decided to launch a VA World Conference. That's right, a VA World Conference. It is not going to be until next year, but the waiting list is open. All you have to do is go to VAWorldConference.com and go ahead and sign up for the waiting list, and then you'll be on our list to get all the information after that. And yeah, we would love to see you there. It's going to be in.
You should go.
It's gonna be fun.
Yes.
We're gonna have a pajama party.
Fun. That's the kind of thing I wish I would have had when I was a VA for 2.5 years. I wish I would have had a conference. So everybody should go.
Yes.
We're gonna have fun. We're gonna learn. We're gonna have fun.
So, all right. See you next week, guys. Bye.